Assalamu alaikum. In this video we will understand about the vitamin B12. It is known as the cobalamine. We will understand in this video the physiology and biochemistry. The dietary deficiency will lead to deficiency of the vitamin B12, but the diet basically contain meat mostly contain vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 transport into the digestive system with the protein bound. In this way, the salivary or protein release into the digestive system also, but the dietary cobalamine bound to animal protein. This animal protein containing cobalamine is not released until it will not until when go into the stomach. Whenever after the mastication, the bolus will enter into the stomach from the esophagus. Nitrous oxide is basically increased when will lead to deficiency of this. Cobalamine basically the gastric secretion like chief cell and parietal cell work to produce pepsin and hydrochloric acid to increase the acidic medium, and in this the pepsinogen convert into the pepsin via a hydrochloric acid. This cobalamine will release with the protein due to the pepsin, and the hydrochloric acid will work for it, and in this way because the hydrochloric acid will activate the pepsinogen into the pepsin. In this way, here is the R protein from parietal cell also released like a salivary R protein, and it will be bind with the cobalamine. After this binding with the cobalamine, it will be enter into the after the formation of the chyme from the bolus, enter into the duodenum. Gallbladder also produce the cobalamine protein complexes secreted in bile 5 to 10 microgram per deciliter. In this way, the cobalamine also released, but also the intrinsic factor released from the gastric cell. This gastric cell is known as the parietal cell. Parietal cell produce the intrinsic factor also. This intrinsic factor and the cobalamine complex with the R protein will enter into the duodenum as a chyme. Some cobalamine will be waste in the defecation, some absorbed into the blood circulatory system. This cobalamine bound with the R protein will be released due to the pancreatic proteases enzyme, and this exocrine gland as a pancreas will produce, and in this the cobalamine will separate to bind with the intrinsic factor, and after this the ileum mucosal cell. This ileum mucosal cell contain a cubulin in their brush border site. It is contain microvilli, so it's contain a villi to become a microvilli with a cell level to increase the surface area of the digestive system. The cobalamine bind with the intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor will site the intrinsic factor to cubulin bind to endocytosis. This cobalamine basically will be enter and bind with the TC2, and intrinsic factor release again here, and the cobalamine transported via portal system bound to transcobalamine 1, 2 and 3, and after this is we are going to absorb, and in this the cobalamine TC1, 2, 3 binding complex formation will occur, which that is ready to transport into the tissue. When it will be ready into the transport into the tissue through endocytosis to form a endosome formation with the cobalamine and TC2 mostly, and in this the cobalamine will release again with the TC2 and to form a adenosylcobalamine or methylcobalamin, which that is functional, and we will understand about their function. But first of all, we will understand about how vitamin B12 deficiency occur. The achlorhydria resulting in inability to serve the animal protein from the cobalamine, In this way, the basically is the gastric secretion will be abnormal, or the on the other hand, the lack of intrinsic factor with total gastrectomy of pernicious anemia, idiopathic or atrophy of gastric mucosa in associated with antibodies to parietal cell and intrinsic factor will cause the deficiency of the absorption of cobalamine because the intrinsic factor collapse. Exocrine failure to malabsorption because some problem which that will obstruct the secretion of the pancreatic proteases. The high concentration of bacteria and certain parasite in small intestine can absorb cobalamine will lead to deficiency for the absorption and genetic disorder involving the plasma transport. Okay. So the genetic disorders involving the conversion to coenzyme forms. Anyhow, let's understand about the bigger picture for understanding the biochemical pathway and how it can work. So the folic acid converts into the dihydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. This tetrahydrofolate will convert into the methylene tetrahydrofolate, and the methyl tetrahydrofolate, it comes from the dietary folate. This is the iron metabolism. And in this way, the deoxyuridine will convert into the thymidine due to the methylene tetrahydrofolate to convert the dihydrofolate. And the thymidine will use for the DNA synthesis. While on the other hand, the homocysteine, in the presence of methyl tetrahydrofolate, to convert the methionine through methionine synthase enzyme by the using of methyl vitamin B12 and to form a methionine, and this methionine basically is the homocysteine to also produce this 5-adenosyl homocysteine and will lead to methylation, and this is the methionine cycle, while other is the folate cycle is important due to the vitamin B12 in the mitochondria production of energy by also the methyl malonyl CoA will produce the methyl malonic acid, but the methyl CoA mutase enzyme bind with the adenosyl vitamin B12 to produce the succinyl CoA. This succinyl CoA will convert into the use for the Krebs cycle to produce ATP. Anyhow, I hope you make sense about this. Let's understand about the function. The function, no, we are just understanding because this is the cycle we are understanding about that. No, the coenzyme for the synthesis of methyl malonyl CoA to succinyl CoA for the production of ATP from the Krebs cycle and convert the homocysteine to methionine from the by the using of the vitamin B12, fatty acid, and the aliphatic acid metabolism and cofactor for DNA synthesis and myelination of nerves. It means the nervous system required the vitamin B12 and the normal metabolism for the production of ATP as well as DNA repair. The deficiency lead to accumulation of abnormal lipids in the nervous system will lead to cause many problems and ineffective RBC, WBC and platelets production. In this way, we have discussed in this video about the vitamin B12, cobalamine, their physiology, absorption and the biochemistry. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Bye for this time.